Biking. It looked like a great day.
It's going to be a beautiful day. Where are we going to go?
Let's go to Arkansas.
Arkansas?
Yeah, that's where all the great people live.
Wow, Arkansas. I better go pack a few things.
We'll stop and see Walmart while we're there.
Okay. We decided to go to Bentonville a couple of years ago, but the trip was canceled due to COVID. So it was time to have a pre-planning meeting to go in 2023. We usually have lots of planning meetings where we drink and eat a lot, but don't get much planning done.
Those are so big.
This time, we did get a lot of planning done because Greg had done a great job getting things ready, preparing the maps, and had a lot of literature that we could look at to get ready for the trip. We also were able to get in a few rides this spring. Snow was gone, the days were warming up. One day we went down to Pale. I had a great time, sat around and talked smart, drank beer. It was a good pre-planning day. All right, well, we're heading for Bentonville, Arkansas, for some fine mountain biking and some fine southern cuisine, including Waffle House, Cracker Barrel, and Buc-ee's. The plan was for Greg and me to leave Madison, travel down through Rockford, Springfield, Illinois, St. Louis, Missouri, and on to Bentonville. It was a beautiful day for traveling, all interstate, low traffic, plenty of rest stops. We even saw the Arch in St. Louis. I think you had a senior moment over here, Greg. 13 hours later, we ended up in Bentonville, staying at the Comfort Inn for 4 nights. The temperature was in the 80s, the red buds were blooming. It was beautiful. Gaylord and Billy showed up, and pretty soon Tommy H. showed up. Then it was time for a little rest. But we still had to eat, of course, so we headed down to the Bentonville Square where everything is happening. We ate at Table Mesa, a Mexican restaurant that had an accompanying bakery. What a combination. The place was full and they were starting to seat people in their auxiliary room. We were the first ones in there, and by the time we left, the place was full. We had a great discussion about the ride down. Gaylord had gone through Des Moines, Kansas City, and arrived in Bentonville after a 13-hour drive, only 15 minutes before us. We had a great dinner.
Yeah, that's it. Yours looks like a nice.
Everybody left with full tummies.
You get Taylor some kind of big burrito?
Burrito. Yeah.
With full tummies, we decided to take a walk around the square, passing by the Benton County Courthouse and the beautiful gardens within the square. 80 degrees spring temperatures, all the tulips were in bloom. Bentonville is located in the very northwest corner of Arkansas. The greater Bentonville area population is about 56,000 people. It is now the 28th fastest growing city in the United States. Steady business expansion and quality of life improvements had fostered this growth. The town of Bentonville recently declared itself the mountain biking capital of the world, and they continue to do what they're doing Rumor has it that plans to build 1,200 miles of single track between Bentonville and Little Rock over the next 10 years. Much of this development happened thanks to the Family Walton Foundation, of which Tom Walton is the Home Region Program Committee Chair. Then there's the $59 million investment from the Walton Family Foundation. From 2000 to 2016, the foundation invested $13 million in mountain biking trails and an additional $46 million in paved multi-purpose trails. A good portion of those funds were tied to grants designed to leveraging matching funds, making the effort truly a community-wide endeavor. While the Walton Family Foundation certainly has a vested interest in attracting and retaining high-value employees in the area for their Walmart Corporation, the time and money the foundation has invested in the region has had an impact on all the people in the area. There are 140 miles of mountain biking trails in the Bentonville area. Due to the underlying limestone, most of the trail surface we rode was generally of a rocky nature surface terrain that is native to Arkansas. There are 6 main mountain bike trail networks to explore. The 6th area, known as the Slaughter Pen, is subdivided into Slaughter Pen 1, 2, and 3. The name comes from the former hog slaughtering plant that existed on the site. Each trail is rated by the skill level needed to have a good experience. Just like downhill skiing, the trails are rated green, blue, or black. Greg thought we should start with the Kohler area. The Kohler area is maintained by the Peel Compton Foundation and has 19 miles of trail. As you can see from the red box above, it also has lots of easy trails, green. To use the trails though, you've got to get out of bed and get on the trails. Our first day out, we got a little late start. Gaylord, what time is it?
10 after 11.
We finally got loaded up and headed for the trailhead. Got everything unloaded. The trail system has a great signage system, and you can always look at the "You Are Here" to find out where you're at. We got on the trail and headed under the bridge over to the main parking lot and where the actual trail would begin. As we got underneath the bridge, you could hear people yelling and screaming, and on the left side of the trail, someone had crashed and was coming down the hill. Soon the ambulance arrived, and the paramedics waited across the stream. It was soon time for a stop at the Airship Coffee Shop, located right in the middle of the Kohler biking area. As you can see, we weren't the only ones to stop. It was a great place to get something to drink, hot or cold, some snacks, and they even had flush toilets. Everybody just laid out in the sun and enjoyed the day until it was time to get back on the trail again. One of the coolest things we saw all day was this bridge. As you rode through it, you heard very ethereal, meditative music vibrating off the metal of the bridge. I think it was powered by that solar panel at the end. It was so cool, I rode through it twice. Being in such a meditative mood, what couldn't be better than going to the local bike shop, the Bentonville bike store we passed on the way, where they had 6 of the 7 bikes out in front were electric mountain bikes. They had everything you needed, as a typical bike store does, including stuff you didn't know you needed until you actually saw it, and then you couldn't figure out how you lived without it for so long. Greg was really excited about the mountain bikes. He and Gaylord were thinking of renting one for a day. Gaylord's in the mood to purchase one. We headed back downtown to do a little more shopping, including a stop at the Fat Tire Bike Shop, which is located in a historic old hotel, beautifully preserved. The Trek sale was on, and it looks like if you wanted an orange Trek, that was the color of the year. They were happy to let you take one for a spin if you wanted to. We walked around and looked at some of the other shops. It'd be easy to spend money here. The ever-present tulips were still in full bloom. Tonight we decided to go to eat where all the locals go, Smokin' Joe's Rib House. And it was fantastic. They've won about every award they could have, and the food was excellent.
What's on? I gotta do it again now.
There's sausage in my wild beans too. Somebody wants an extra roll.
Although Smokin' Joe's was packed, it looks like they still add a temporary inflation fee to the receipt. It was well worth it though, and a great way to end our day. We woke up to another beautiful day in Bentonville, Arkansas. Today we would ride the Slaughterhouse Pen area. The 40-plus miles of single track flow alongside the paved Razorback Regional Paved Greenway and by the Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art. The path and trails are dotted with public art along the way. The Slaughterhouse Pen system includes trails ranging in difficulty from beginners, the All-American and the Seed Tick Shuffle Trails, to expert, the Scott Allen Trail and the Medusa Trails, with connector trails taking riders between the various hubs of the system. The IMBA Silver Level Ride Center Clean Flow, major downhills, technical rocks, and huge berms. It is truly a trail system with something for everyone. And what we really liked is there were a lot of green trails. The area reminded us a lot of the Camba mountain biking region up around Hayward, Wisconsin. Gentle rollers, dirt track, no roots, easy flowing. got some great advice from locals that ride the trails all the time. And it usually proved to be quite useful, especially in this situation. This was an uphill with a very sharp turn to the left. As one of the locals told us, he says, you don't want to miss it because you'll go off the edge. He said, yeah, we've been telling them, the club, for a couple of years they should put up a sign. They finally did. We thought they may have unfortunately placed the sign a little bit too far down the trail from the turn. After a great morning of riding, we decided to spend the afternoon touring the Crystal Bridges Museum. During the 1970s, Sam Walton's wife bought piecemeal properties near downtown Bentonville until she had acquired 120 acres on which the museum is built. The Walton Foundation contributed about $1.2 billion to the construction, and Walmart's $20 million sponsorship means admission is free for everybody. The building was designed by acclaimed architect Moshe Safdie, has over 5 miles of trails on the property, and the museum features both a permanent collection and temporary exhibitions, a museum store, a restaurant, a coffee bar, a Frank Lloyd Wright house, and a library. In 2011, the 200,000 square foot museum opened for visitors. There's plenty of on-site parking, so it's not hard to get there and easy to access the property. Across from the garage and the parking lot is an outdoor exhibit entitled Architecture at Home. Through research, interviews, and innovative thinking, 5 architectural firms based across the Americas designed and fabricated 500 square foot prototypes for a contemporary house to be displayed in the exhibition. Overall, this exhibition helps us better understand how architecture affects our lives, determine what makes a house a home, and celebrate the artistry in building and shelter. Some seem more homey than others. You entered the building here, descended in an elevator 2 levels, and came out into a very open and airy atrium area. The 200,000 square foot museum that opened in 2011 is now being added onto. Gallery space will increase by 65%. Construction started in 2022, with completion expected to be in 2024. One gallery would flow into the next. As you entered the first, you came upon artist Neri Ward, who's from New York, and is known for his sculptures made from materials discovered in and around New York City. Here his celebration of America, We the People, was made using discarded shoelaces. The permanent collection spans 5 centuries of American artworks, from early American to the present. A $500 million initial purchase of Winslow Homer, George Inness, John Singer Sargent, as well as contemporary artists as Warhols, Rothkos, and Pollocks, as well as some pricey gems from lesser-known artists. The collection continues to grow, while the museum also offers temporary exhibits. While we were there was a temporary exhibit of Diego Rivera's work, the famous muralists. Veterans get in for free, and thanks to Tommy H. protecting our country years ago, we all got in. After walking around the museum for 2 or 3 hours, we were getting hungry and thirsty, so we hit their little restaurant called 11, which had beautiful views of the area, had a couple beers, and got ready for the evening dinner. We had a great day today, great biking and a great cultural experience at the Crystal Bridges Museum. So we figured we needed a special dinner tonight. We found a place only a couple miles north of us called the Petite Bistro. And even though we didn't have reservations, they got us in and we had a great dinner. So good, in fact, we decided to follow it up by each of us getting a dessert. They were great. We'll be back to our featured presentation in a moment after a word from our sponsor, Madison Bike and Bowl. Ride and Rick here with Madison Bike and Bowl team at the Montrose part of the Ice Age Trail, here with Nancy. Nancy, what's the best part of being with the Madison Bike and Bowl team?
I really like being with all the people. I just, everybody's so peaceful and in good spirits, and everybody has things going on in their life and that I can hear about. It's a good distraction. It's just a very warm, friendly feel.
Hey, it's just the camaraderie. You know, even on days where there's hikes that I don't really want to do all that bad, it's all the pals and having fun with the guys.
Tom, how long you been with the group?
I have absolutely no idea. I don't remember stuff like that.
You're getting to that age, aren't you?
I are, yes.
And how many do you usually get out here on a hike?
Between 15 and 30.
15 and 30. Does everybody make the whole thing?
Generally, yeah.
And what's the best thing about being an MBBT member?
The ease of signing up for these wondrous events.
What's the best thing about being part of the Madison Bike and Bowl team?
Getting out with a bunch of guys that have similar interests and just the social aspect of it. I'd like the grilled chicken sandwich with...
Am I
Grounded!
I'd have to say I like going to New Glarus. They have a great restaurant there.
Now today, Jarno, you brought some cookies. Delicious cookies. What kind were they?
They were chocolate peanut butter chip. But I do like any ride where I get to see birds, especially cranes or anything unusual, because that makes me happy. Well, it's just so much fun to be out with people and to get to know new people, and then there's this calmness about riding where, you know, it's just serene out there on all the different rides. So, yeah, I just enjoy being out for the day.
It's just being with the people and enjoying our days together with everyone here. I get to meet people who I've never met before.
Well, I like the Mount Orab ride when we go to Grumpy Troll. Everybody gets along really well, even though there's a lot of different skill levels for biking. The group stays together for the most part.
You don't look old enough to be retired yet.
I'm the youngest one here.
Okay, so what's your favorite part after 2 years about MBBT?
Just to have this day, full day of new friends and socialization and not thinking about anything but biking.
We woke to another beautiful day in Bentonville and didn't know at the time that this would probably be our hardest day of riding. We'll be riding in the Hand-Cut Hollow area, which is located just north of our hotel. The reason it's called hand-cut is there's no machinery really used in constructing the trail, only shovels, axe, and picks, all handwork, which means they can't get all the rocks out and all the slab rock. It was going to be an exciting day. Hand-Cut Hollow was only located about 2 miles north of our hotel, so we just rode our bikes up there. By mid-afternoon, we were beat and decided to tour around town a little bit. We went out to the old Walmart campus where the original home office and even Sam's pickup truck is preserved. We then drove by the new campus. In 2017, Walmart announced plans to build a new 350-acre home office campus, which is going to include 12 office buildings, 9 parking decks, a fitness center, a hotel, a daycare center, and interwoven with walking and biking trails. It's supposed to be finished in 2025. Greg and I walked down to the temporary location for the Walmart Museum, about 3 blocks south of town. In the museum is a Lego structure that depicts the original Walton store downtown with the museum right next to it. They're both being renovated now. The temporary museum only holds a handful of items, but they are all about Sam and about the company. Not everything that Sam touched turned to gold. His first Ben Franklin stores that he owned failed, and he had several iterations, including Bud's shopping center, before he finally started the Walmart. Here was a framed certificate of the first 100 shares of Walmart stock issued to Sam Walton in 1972. Also on display was the Presidential Medal of Freedom issued to Sam Walton from President Bush. The museum had some interesting items, including this tandem co-motion Walmart bike, and as recently as 2021, Walmart and Sam's Club Vision Centers partnered with Elton John to create a line of sunglasses inspired by his distinctive style. Walmart is also trying to lead the way with recycling. Here's a satchel you can buy that's actually made from recycled Walmart blue vests. And just like other major retailers, Walmart is getting into the drone business, with experimental drone delivery being done in a 30-mile area around Bentonville. The coolest thing we saw, though, was a hologram of Sam Walton.
My name is Sam Walton, and I'm in the retail business.
Do you have any hobbies?
Bicycling.
Well, aside from training the dogs, I like being outdoors in all kinds of weather. When I'm out there, I'm not thinking about Walmart or Sam's or anything, but where the next covey might be. Also, some of my best friends are people who like to hunt quail. I feel like quail hunters are generally good sportsmen. We've got a balanced respect for conservation and wildlife, things that I certainly value.
Okay.
Close your eyes, shuffle it around, pick one.
Okay, oh yeah.
Doesn't matter, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sam, what's your story?
As I look back, I realize that ours is a story about the kinds of traditional principles that made America great in the first place. It is a story about entrepreneurship and risk and hard work and knowing where you want to go and being willing to do what it takes to get there. It's a story about believing in your idea, even when maybe some other folks don't, and about sticking to your guns. But I think, more than anything, it proves there's absolutely no limit to what plain, ordinary working people can accomplish if they're given the opportunity and the encouragement and the incentive to do their best. Because that's how Walmart became Walmart. Ordinary people joined together to accomplish extraordinary things.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
What do you know about this hologram? We decided to walk around the square a bit. It really is like a small town, including the county jail, which is still operational and still has iron bars on the windows. Lots of murals in downtown Bentonville. Done a nice job. On the west side of the square, where Sam's original store is and the museum, which are both under renovation, Walmart parks an ice cream truck there every day, the Spark Cafe. and it's very popular with the locals and the tourists. After a long day, we figured it was time for us to eat, and we headed to the Press Room Cafe, located right on the square.
The best ones are right here?
Do some.
Okay.
Another beer.
Okay.
I need another beer too.
Okay. I'll be right back. And then I'll be back in the morning.
I'm gonna try it.
What do you need a fork?
What do you need? What do I need?
A fork?
Those forks right here.
Yeah.
We woke up to another beautiful day in Bentonville, and since it's our last, we decided to get going a little early. We're heading out to the Slaughterhouse Pen area again, one of our favorite areas. There's so many trails, it's so easy to get lost. As you can see from the GPS, it's not much help. There's one trail right on top of another. But that's part of the fun, never quite knowing where you are. We chose to take the 1 mile out and back warm-up trail just to get the old muscles going again. And it reminded us that the trails in the Bentonville area are primarily two-way unless they're marked otherwise. So you do need to be careful. We soon came to the President Bush push point, where in 2010 he challenged a bunch of mountain bikers while he was there to go up the incline, after which he proceeded to ride right up it. It's about 16%, and he made it to the top. At the top there's a rhino. Why it's there, who knows, other than maybe they thought he was a Republican in name only. There was a lot of art along the way today, including this big critter, who I asked to keep an eye on my bike while I made a pit stop. A little further down the road there was this goofy curlicue, like cloverleaf, with a banked approach in case you really wanted to get some speed, and you wouldn't want to wipe out on that concrete curlicue. The trails today seem to be a lot rougher than what we've been riding the last 3 days. There was a lot of uphill, a lot of loose shale, chunky rocks, roots. It made going a little bit more tough. There were a lot of improvements put on the trails today, including a number of bridges, which we always stopped at first and looked at before we went over them, not knowing what might be over the top. There was also this large concrete and stone one, which we didn't go down, but if you wait around long enough, sure enough, somebody will eventually come by. Another thing we noticed today for the first time were these safety points that are numerically designated and usually have some type of access road into them, so if someone gets hurt, medical personnel can get into it. It had been another great day of biking, and on the way back to the parking lot, I took the paved trail. Greg took the all-American dirt trail right alongside. We went by some more artwork. There was Sassy. It was completely made of sprockets and old chains. And if we hadn't had enough mountain biking and climbing on this trip, we could buy one of these to take home than put in our backyard. For our final dinner, we decided to head down to Tavola, an Italian restaurant right on the Bentonville Square. Before you knew it, we were eating bread, drinking martinis, wine, and beer, and talking smart again. Not a problem for us. Billy, Gaylord, and Greg all had a single-serving pizza, but for Greg it was too much. He had to take half of it home. I had the pasta, Tommy H. had the beef. We were stuffed, but decided we needed one more dessert for the trip. Got a tiramisu, 5 spoons. Soon it was all gone. We headed back to the hotel for our final night. We woke to another beautiful morning in Bentonville, Arkansas. We'd be heading home today. It had been a great trip. The weather was beautiful, the riding was challenging, the food and the culture were very good, and we had great companionship. We decided to go home through Kansas City, up through Des Moines and home. Greg and I and Tommy H. all had an uneventful trip. Not so much for Billy B. and Gaylord, but that's a story for another time.